Hey everybody and welcome back. So today I'm doing a refinding type of video, and the first actual legit brand of makeup that I first started using back in high school was actually BareMinerals. And I don't know, I literally haven't used anything from BareMinerals in, oh my gosh, a really long time. Long time. So I don't know, I was just kind of inspired to pick them up again and see how I felt about it all these years later and see if anything had changed. So I picked up 3 products. I thought I had a 4th one, but I guess I didn't. So I picked up the lip color, which is what I have on, and then the blush and the foundation. So if you want to see my genuine review / demo of those products, then go ahead and keep watching. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to be going in with the foundation shade I picked up is the shade Fairly Light 03 in the original formula. Since I'm not super oily or very oily at all right now, I went with the original. From what I remember at least, their matte version actually worked pretty well. I think there was something in there that broke me out. Mind you, this is all so long ago, so they could have changed up the ingredients sometime after that. But anyway, I picked up the original formula. I'm going to go ahead and... I don't even remember how much of this to use. So I'm going to tap some into the lid here and go ahead and buff it into the brush. They still have a specific brush for their foundation now that looks a lot different than the brushes I remember. It was expensive. I'm just used to Morphe prices for brushes, and even Smith. I'll wait until they're at IMATs or Fame to where they're more affordable. So I'm not going to use that brush because that was just too expensive. I'm using the Morphe G8. It's like a flat buffer brush, and it's pretty movable, so it's not super dense and hard, so I feel like it's kind of like that good mix of a blending brush. And we're going to go ahead. I didn't put any concealer on because we're really going to test this out today. I'm kind of nervous of how well this is going to test out. Basically just completely a buffing method to applying this foundation. Okay, and I'm having a little trouble with flakiness, dryness right now because I did get my normal facial done, or actually it wasn't normal, we did a different peel this time, and my skin is not liking it. It's super dry once I start to put products on, which is really frustrating. So this brush isn't amazing for this. I feel like it doesn't have quite as much give as I would have wanted to. It's not gliding over my skin. Luckily, since this is a buffing method, it's kind of buffing that dry skin away. So coverage is not amazing right now. This is definitely a more natural foundation. God, that's what is the worst about when my skin does this, is it literally will peel and peel and peel and peel and peel in certain areas only. And it's just no matter what I do, it'll still peel some more. This looks really natural on camera, and it kind of slightly blurs out these imperfections here and here. You can definitely still see them. I mean, I guess technically nobody's going to be getting that close to my face, but it's not ideal. If only my skin were normal, this would be a little better. But I'm gonna go ahead, keep going. Okay, so I do remember this. I remember them getting smaller brushes before they came out with any kind of concealer, and they would basically just pat more of the foundation onto a flat concealer type brush. I'm going to see if maybe that helps at all. So I'm just using a flat brush. The one I had envisioned originally is nowhere to be found. So we're going to just use this one. Guess same concept with any other foundation. Just pat on the areas versus buffing where you want more coverage. That is one thing I remember from my OG days of working with makeup. This isn't bad, I'll say that much. I mean, this still looks like my skin. It looks a lot lighter than when I put my normal foundations on. So I guess my natural skin color shines through here a little better, which I don't mind. It's nice. It's like healthy, other than sometimes because I'm so fair I look sickly depending on my foundation. I'm gonna use this as concealer because I noticed that they had cream concealers, but I just don't know how they'll work with this. Maybe I'll just do like a little bit of regular concealer because I have to wear this. This is the only thing. I have to actually go out into the world with this on after this, so I'm a little nervous. Okay, I think that's as good as it's gonna get for the foundation, at least. I'm not going to attempt to put any under my eyes. I just feel like I'm putting myself up for bad juju. I'm gonna go in. I actually have a sample of their bronzer, basically. And I have this tiny little, this is actually a BareMinerals brush, and I have a little bit in the cap here as well. And I'm gonna swirl that in. Start going in here. Hopefully this gives me some nice color. It's coming off a little bit brighter and a little bit more warm on camera than it actually is in real life. It's like a subtle bronzer, but then again, man, anything against my skin tone right now just looks orange unless it's hella cool toned. I mean, it blends nicely, at least. I'll say that much. I feel like I'm going to need a bigger blending brush to kind of balance this out because this is really precise. Small little brush. Oy. Yeah, I'm going to need a bigger one to try and work with that forehead area right now. Blend away. Up a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to leave the skin as is there. And I'm going to go in. This was like my first real blush. And it is in the shade Vintage Peach. I was so excited when I was looking for products to try again. And I saw that they still made this. I was so excited. So, this is like a nice peachy. This was like my first blush kind of color too. I'm gonna go in. This is actually a BareMinerals brush. This is like an OG one, but I loved it. It doesn't even have a name. Oh, does it? Hydrate and Brighten. I don't think they still make this. They might, but they might not. But I love this brush. It's so soft. I think it was like an antibacterial one, maybe. Anyway, same method. Going ahead and buffing this color into the brush. It looks very, very natural. Like in the camera, I can kind of see the color here for the blush, but in person, I'm trying to see it because I'm not sure. And it's so deceiving with like the product because like you put it and I feel like, well, maybe that's too much, but then I put it on my skin and I can barely see it. So I guess it's just trial and error with this kind of stuff. And there, I feel like you can see this like a little bit more. So I only have one more product that I picked up from BareMinerals, and it is the lip color. So what I'm going to do is do everything else off camera. I'm going to come back, we'll put the lip color on, and then I'll talk about my final thoughts about how everything came together. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I went ahead and finished everything up. I pretty much did like an altered version of what I normally do. I did use Shape Tape, but I literally just stayed right in here and used it as a primer like I normally do. Because I noticed when I started to try and bring it down here a little bit where it kind of met where the foundation was, they didn't mix together well. That could be because my skin is so dry right now, but I noticed that, so I stayed away brows are still the same, mascara is still the same. I put highlighter on and that's pretty much it. Now going in with the lip color, I picked up the Gen Nude Matte Liquid Lip Color in the shade Smooch. They have a really pretty gloss that I found yesterday, but I forgot the name of it. I need to go back and swatch again. But they look really, really pigmented. This is kind of like a dusty lilac-y shade, which I thought was really pretty. So let's see. It has between like a mousse and a liquidy feel to it. It's not really more one or the other. It's not a bad color. It just, I look a little washed out right now with just this on there. So I'll definitely probably pop a gloss on. I think that this would be a little bit better if I were a little bit more tan, but the color itself is pretty. Overall, I actually really, I like the feel of this because it feels like I have nothing on my face. It's not, I'd say it's like sheer to maybe medium. You can build it up to medium, but it kind of goes on like a sheer. Like you can still see my discoloration here a little bit, but it's not like I have nothing on. Going in and patting with a smaller like concealer brush definitely helped on those areas. Yes, you can still see them, but it also looks like my skin. And the dry areas, which might not be coming across on camera, which is great, it still definitely looks dry. It does warm up and kind of turn into like a creamy consistency, as what they say about the foundation. It goes on a powder, but it kind of warms up with your body temperature and turns into like a nice creamy consistency on your face. Mind you, when I touch my face, it's not creamy. There's hardly anything that came off, if anything at all, on my finger. So I do like that aspect of it. I don't have to set it because it is a powder, even though it kind of warms up on my skin. The bronzer, after I buffed away a good amount of it and blended it in, worked as well. It's just hard when you have super fair skin to kind of just find a bronzer that doesn't make you look orange. It's just part of life. But other than that, like, the blush is really nice and like really naturally flushed shade. I think it's just such a difference from what I'm used to using, what I'm used to seeing the last couple years on my face with my makeup, that it's like an adjustment period. I'm so used to seeing so much intense pigment that this looks like not very much pigment. But when I was sitting down doing the rest of my makeup, it's just enough. I think this is truly where my love of natural makeup came in, because this is just enough. Like, just face wise, I mean, even if I didn't put like brows and like a lip color on, it still is my skin there. It matches with my neck perfectly, versus I have a lot of hard time with oxidizing with majority of my foundations. So I appreciate that a lot, and it's just a different way to think about makeup. So if you're interested and just open-minded, I will say that keep an open mind. This is not going to be like any other foundations you normally use, unless you use a powder potentially. It's a whole different way of thinking about it. At least that's what I'm thinking right now. So if you're into that, or if you're interested in just trying something completely new and working with something, I think I'm very impressed with this. So BareMinerals, definitely. I'm not disappointed all these years later. So that is pretty much my re-review on this. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll be seeing you very soon in my next video.